There's no doubt that technology occupies a tremendous part in our life, in particular, the smartphone. They are with us all the time. We use them not only to make phone calls like back in the day, but also they take a huge part in the media revolution. According to some experts who deal with different kinds of addiction, smartphone addiction is not yet recognised, although the usage of these devices may be considered as some kind of obsession.
Hi, my name's Owen Redahan. I'm a therapist and I deal with a wide variety of issues, including some addictions. I think we've got to be very careful about the use of the word addiction. I think one can become compulsive towards something, and social media certainly is showing a lot of people becoming very compulsive about it, always having to check, always having to be on, always having to share information. But an addiction is a lot more than that. An addiction is where something, and it can be a behaviour, it's usually associated with substances like heroin or alcohol, that takes over one's life. So in other words, what that means is that your focus is solely on getting the next hit of heroin. With regards to social media, I'm not aware that we've seen anything like that, but that doesn't mean it might happen to a few people.
My name is Scott Hayden. I'm a lecturer of creative media production at Basingstoke College of Technology, but I've also got the new title of Specialist Practitioner of Social Media and Educational Technology as well now. So I teach 16 to 20 year olds primarily on A-level and BTEC courses, and it's definitely behaviour of obsession, addiction, however you want to phrase it, in relation to the actual smartphone, having it nearby as a comfort perhaps, or being unable to sort of divorce themselves from the item for fear of missing out on a conversation that's happening without them.
Well, to be honest, I'm spending like half of the day on the phone. The only time when I'm not using my phone is at work, and even at work, like by time to time, I'm checking my phone like almost every 2 hours. I'm checking constantly my phone, even if I don't expect any messages, any like calls, just to check. I guess it starts to be a addiction, like a habit, and yeah, I'm using my phone most of the time.
Many times we tend to misunderstand the messages we receive on our phone. Texting can sometimes create miscommunication between people. It's easier to misunderstand a person via text message than face-to-face.
If you text me and you type or you email me a message, you know what you're thinking and you'll have carefully composed it. I'll read it and I could interpret it in a number of ways. Whereas if we're face-to-face, back to you say whatever it is to me, and then you see my face dropping, you sort of realize that, wait a minute, no, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, and then you can clarify.
Exactly.
And that's really very important. That's where face-to-face communication is important.
Can a smartphone be a tool for learning? Using your smartphone has a lot of advantages when it comes to teaching and studying. Nowadays, some schools or universities use these smart devices to teach. One thing is for sure, we constantly try to improve our life with technology.
I think they're not necessarily a bad thing. That's the issue with the way we talk about smartphones, that particularly in classes, as an educator, I think they're tools that can be used to evidence understanding. Podcasts, video, text, blog posts, I think they're wonderful machines that can help us evidence and learn and grow and develop and communicate and create and collaborate. I think that's something that needs to be taught to young people. They aren't just distraction devices.
I'm using my phone for like Google Map, I would say, to find direction, to find pubs, bars, even for the way to come home, even for the way to travel. Like I'm looking a lot for like at what time is the bus, for example, or which route I have to take to go somewhere. I'm booking online restaurants, booking my plane tickets, searching for a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, I'm using my phone a lot for not only for messaging or not only for calling, I'm using my phone for everything, direction and all this stuff.
What is important is to train the discipline, as you say, the ability to realise that it's for these times to use this device appropriately and professionally, something that isn't taught in schools. So we're now getting a generation of students who are 16, 17 who have been told that their phone is not appropriate and that you shouldn't be using it unless it's leisure time, when in actual fact they're missing out on all this potential. It can be used so much in the classroom to help people learn. Using it to access video tutorials and to listen to podcasts and to read web pages and to take photographs evidence to understanding as well, and to comment and peer review each other's work. I think that's great to help people learn.
I do have one. I have absolutely no problem with having a smartphone. I find it extremely useful. It generates business for me. So I will look at my smartphone after I've had breakfast to check if there's any emails or texts. I will respond to them. I will then come into the office. My phone is off when doing all my interviews. My friends, family and relatives know that they might send me an email, but it's more likely that they won't hear from me until late at night or in the morning, that I do not respond to emails instantly. Then it goes off at about 9 o'clock at night. I'm a bit on call, for my clients. They do have that ability that if there's an emergency to be able to contact me. So it's slightly different to a normal use, but I still am really quite restrictive in it.
Increasingly, we rely on phones in our daily lives, from checking emails and reminders or monitoring social media to purchasing goods and services. Is there any connection between using smartphones and mental health issues?
I think they can substantially affect our mental health. There are a number of studies that are beginning to show that. So for instance, people use their smartphones or screens before they go to bed. Now, there's a lot of blue light coming out of these devices, which seems to affect the production of serotonin. There's early research seems to suggest that serotonin is one of the chemicals that our body produces to help us get to sleep. If we haven't got enough serotonin, then our sleep patterns get buffered, get changed. If our sleep patterns are changed, then our mental health gets affected. We get tired, but then we get more depressed and have great difficulty with dealing with life's challenges. So that's just one example of where that is.
My message to the new generation is to realise that you've got this tool in your pocket that you can use to create great art with, and to communicate with industry professionals, and to collaborate with your peers to develop incredible ideas, to make themselves more employable, to create a digital reputation that will make them stand out from other people in that interview for a job, an apprenticeship or a university place. And to know that employers are going to be looking at your digital reputation, they're going to be looking at your social media, to know that as a fact. Now you can start making yourself employable when you actually finish your education.
Nothing replaces face-to-face relationships. Using smartphones, using WhatsApp is an addition to it, and of course if you're thousands of miles apart, it's what you have. But face-to-face is what makes humans work, what reduces the stress, what makes us able to live our lives better.
If you can start building websites, learn about coding, make blogs, and a great social media reputation, you're infinitely more employable once you finish your education.
While smartphones have their positives and negatives, they're here to stay. Where will technology take us next?